Hello, everybody. I am DJ Leandro. Welcome back to the DJ Leandro Music YouTube channel. In this video, it's not so much a tutorial as it is more of a discussion with regards to answering one question, which can be either simplified or very complicated. And that question is, should you master your own tracks? In my personal opinion, the simple answer to that is no. I don't think you should be mastering your tracks because that is not what I do. And there's a few reasons for this. Number one, the reason why I don't master my tracks is I am a home studio producer. I don't have a full on studio where I've got soundproofing worth thousands of euros. I don't have the most expensive monitoring systems, and my environment is not the best acoustically. And namely, just because of this, I don't think I'll be able to get the perfect volume out of each of my tracks. Number two, because of what I've stated with regards to that I don't have my own acoustic sound treatment, mastering engineers have this. They've got great sound treatment in their studios. They do this for a profession, a lot of them. And also they've got the right monitoring for mastering. So they obviously their equipment's going to be much more expensive, their sound treatment's more expensive because they are doing this for a living. Number two, the price that you pay is very little in comparison to what the outcome can be on your track. You can find mastering from as cheap as 10 euros or $10 per track. This all depends on who the mastering engineer is and if they're going to be doing software mastering or analog hardware mastering. And with regards to mastering, this can make or break your track. But the one thing that, in my opinion, if you get a good mastering engineer and you develop a very good relationship, which also helps a lot because you can go back and forth with regards to the mastering that they will do on your tracks. If there's something specific you don't like, they can change it for you, or vice versa. If there's something that they don't like that they think that you can fix in your mix, and then send it back to them with the adjustment that they recommended to you, you can get more out of your master. This is what's nice about sending it to a mastering engineer, is that it will not just be the final product. They can keep adjusting according to what they want to get the best from your track. And additionally, if there are some things you don't like, majority of the time, mastering engineers are a great bunch of people that will definitely help you as much as you can to get the best product, the result. And that comes back to what I was saying, that it can make or break your track, because you can actually have a phenomenally produced song. But if your master sucks, the end result of that track means that your track could easily sound sucky. It can be a terrible sounding song simply because the mastering was not done correctly. For argument's sake, your low end can be too high. Your high end can be too low and can sound too bass aggressive, or can be too thin if your bass and your kick is not coming through correctly. But a mastering engineer will give you what you want within that track, because also they do this for a living, especially those involved in house music and dance music. They know what the end result of a master should sound like, especially through their specific systems that they sit and do this hundreds of hours, thousands of hours more likely, because they do this for a living. And those that are focused on more dance music, house music, melodic house, progressive house, whatever, they know what kind of result the mass public is going to expect from a master of a dance track. And because again, that price is so small to pay for such a great end product, I do think it is highly, highly worth it. So that for me is all the main reasons why. I mean, easily, as you can see here, these are some mastering plugins that you can get within Cubase. Here we have our maximizer, got a multi-band compressor, we've got frequency to cut out some EQ or boost and gain. And then from Waves, we've got a great limiter as well as max volume plugin. All of these are great, but again, it comes to the point of what I mentioned earlier. If your your acoustic treatment is not correct, and you just got like a studio in your little basement or in your room, like I do, where it's not really acoustically sound, or also your monitors are not exactly the best, so the end result before the end result comes out, whatever's being fed through your monitors, which might not be the greatest, as opposed to a mastering engineer who will my personal opinion, will definitely have much better monitoring and acoustic treatment than what you will have. Again, it might sound good to you in your studio, but once you take it out to a club or play it on the radio or on your phone, it could sound completely disastrous. Okay, so that is my personal opinion. Now, to counter this, for those who are wanting to do their own mastering, in that case, I do understand. Number one being, if this is something that you really want to focus on, then that I agree with in that sense. Like if this is something you really want to start looking more into, you don't just want to produce tracks, you also want to master tracks, then I would say, yeah, go ahead. But I would definitely recommend then the amount of time that you put into producing tracks, you should put into mastering tracks. Because for me personally, mastering is an art form on its own. It can't just be simply adding a couple of these plugins and just boosting it and getting the most out of it and to say, yeah, it sounds loud, which automatically makes it sound great. Not so. In many, many cases, loud does not mean good and loud does not mean quality. These are some things and some misconceptions that a lot of the public seem to forget, that loud does not mean good. And you can easily just take a track and just, add max volume to it, like here using this plugin, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, this sounds great. But then if you had to take the same track, send it to a mastering engineer, send it back, and then compare your version to his version, 9 times out of 10, definitely his or her version will definitely sound better than yours because they've definitely got more experience in this. It's definitely an art form on its own that, again, as I said, as much time and effort that you would put into your productions, you should definitely put into mastering if that is something you really want to look into. And then another reason why that you might look into mastering is obviously on the financial aspect. Perhaps maybe you want to save a bit of cash. You don't want to spend that, especially if you're producing, for argument's sake, if you're coming out with one track a week, that kind of tracks, that amount of tracks to be sent for mastering could add up, especially for as a struggling artist. That money to be put into it, I understand totally. If you don't have the money to do that, maybe perhaps start mastering on your own. But one thing that you can do, right, if you are on a tight budget and you are considering sending your tracks to a mastering engineer, a lot of the mastering engineers do have bundles. Or you can explain to them, listen, I'm a bit tight on a budget, but I have 10 tracks. For argument's sake, if they're charging 20 euros per track and it's 10, and maybe for 10 tracks, it would usually cost 200 euros, and maybe you can come to some agreement where you can ask for a discount, or the mastering engineer can even have a bulk discount. Or if you become if you become a regular customer of theirs, they could be like, okay, listen, we've been working well together for a while. I see that you are sending me tracks often. Let's start fixing our rates. I'll drop the price for you. So again, that can also help you, and just something to also keep in mind, that not automatically just shut it down and say, okay, listen, I don't have the cash. Maybe speak to your mastering engineer and say, listen, I'm a struggling artist. I don't have, my budget's a bit low. Is there anything you can help me with? And that kind of thing. Because again, as I said before, personally for me, I would definitely highly, highly recommend, if you can, definitely start sending your tracks for mastering. Try not to master it for yourself unless you're going to put a lot of time and effort into it. Uh, Before I let you guys go, I will send you, if you checked out the link in bio, I'll send you all the information for my personal mastering engineer who goes by the name of Stuart Kittredge. This is his website. It's compoundaudio.net. And then here you'll find all his information here, as well as some reviews left by other producers and record labels. You'll find his pricing here as well that they have. With regards to mastering, they also do some mixing down as well. They do digital and analog mastering as well. So yeah, as I said, I'll put the link in the description of the video, and you can hit him up. Totally awesome, fantastic guy. Gives great reviews on your tracks. Will definitely improve your mixes by far, as well as he's great to work with if you ever need any advice or anything, he'll definitely help you with that. If he finds there's something within your track he doesn't like or something you can improve, he'll give you feedback and you guys can work back and forth. So yeah, I highly recommend Compound Audio for mastering. So yeah, that is just my little thought with regards to mastering. Hope this picked your brain a little bit and maybe answered a few of your questions. Thank you for tuning into the video. If you liked it, don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you at the next one.